Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a source, well, it might seem a little outside the box for some. You sent us Wayne F. Perkins' book, How to Hypnotize Your Lover to Awaken a Sleepy Relationship.
Yeah, that's the one. You gave us this pretty fascinating book, and the core idea is actually quite compelling.
Right.
It's about partners using hypnosis techniques, not just for the relationship, but also for hitting personal goals.
And the methods he suggests, they seem pretty straightforward, like reading to each other.
Exactly. Reading or maybe making recordings for each other, things like that. Pretty accessible.
Okay. And we should probably mention the author, Wayne F. Perkins, he's a certified clinical hypnotherapist, so there's a professional background there.
Important context.
So our mission for this deep dive is really to get into the key ideas and the practical stuff he presents. We want to see what insights it offers for relationships, maybe personal well-being too, through this partnered hypnosis idea.
Definitely. And look, the word hypnosis, it can bring up some weird ideas, right?
Yes.
Stage shows, losing control.
Yeah, exactly.
But we need to focus here on how Perkins talks about it. The practical side, the principles he lays out, we're exploring his system.
Right. Not getting into the whole pop culture version of hypnosis.
Exactly.
Okay, so chapter 1. He starts right off with his definition, and it's maybe not what you'd think. He really focuses on the power of words, ideas, when you really pay attention to them.
Yeah, and what's interesting, right from the start, he says you don't need, like, special qualifications for this. It's something he believes we all kind of have the capacity for. He uses that restaurant story, you remember? Mr. and Mrs. Businessman.
Oh, yeah. The couple, they finally get lunch after a trip, want to reconnect, and then the phone rings, boom, shatters the whole thing.
Totally. Mr. Businessman is just gone, lost in the call. Wife might as well not be there.
And Perkins uses that as the sleepy relationship metaphor.
Right, where that connection, that focus has just faded.
Yeah.
And his book is meant to be the way to recharge the batteries, as he puts it.
Recharge the batteries, I like that.
And building on that, he lists out quite a few potential benefits for you, for your partner.
Like what kind of things?
Well, better sleep, feeling more in control of your life, boosting self-confidence, self-esteem, even better memory, less stress.
Wow. Okay.
And this idea of working together on goals. It's quite a broad scope, really.
It is. And, he defines lovers pretty broadly, too, doesn't he?
He does. It's not just romantic couples.
Right.
Could be friends, family members, healthcare providers helping patients, parents, and kids.
So basically anyone in a supportive relationship where one person wants to help the other achieve something.
Exactly. It's about that mutual support dynamic.
Okay.
Which ties right into a principle he brings up early, the law of attraction.
Ah, okay. How does he frame that?
Pretty simply, actually. Whatever you hold in your mind at any given time, your body moves toward that direction.
Okay.
And he gives that really simple example.
Think about your favorite food.
What happens?
You start salivating.
Right. Your body has a physical reaction just to the thought. It shows how powerful that focused thought is.
That's a good illustration of the mind-body link. And then he brings in his power of 4 rule.
Yes. The Perkins Power of 4 rule.
Okay, so let's unpack that a bit. What exactly is that rule? Why is it important?
Well, the way he explains it is quite insightful. It's basically saying when two people use this mutual hypnosis for a shared goal, you're essentially getting the power of both their conscious minds and both their subconscious minds working together, all 4 pulling in the same direction.
So conscious mind, that's the logical part, analyzing things.
Yeah, the analytical, objective part, short-term memory focus. And the subconscious is more automatic.
Yeah.
Habits, feelings, long-term memory, subjective stuff.
So hypnosis helps line those up better within each person.
Right.
And doing it together just doubles that focus power. Is that the idea?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Perkins argues, often our conscious mind wants one thing, like eat healthy. But our subconscious has these ingrained patterns, like craving junk food when stressed. They clash.
Creates resistance, makes change hard.
Totally. So he sees hypnosis as the bridge, connecting those levels, and doing it with a partner just amplifies that focused mental energy, makes the change more likely to stick.
Okay, that adds some depth. It reminds me a bit of, behavioral psych concepts about addressing underlying beliefs for change.
There are definitely parallels there. It's about aligning those deeper drives with conscious goals.
Right. Okay, moving to chapter 2. This is where we hit that question. The one people probably think of. Can I turn my lover into a duck?
Yes, he actually puts that question in the book.
Does he?
He does. And thankfully, he shoots it down pretty quickly. He stresses this is about trust, mutual growth.
Not control or, yeah, silly party tricks.
Exactly. No weird transformations. It's all about positive change, helping each other out.
Okay, good. No ducks then. So what real things does he suggest hypnosis can help with in a relationship? He lists quite a bit, right?
Oh, yeah, it's a long list. Covers a lot of ground. Things like just having more fun together, getting a better handle on your mindset, your life's direction.
Strengthening the relationship itself.
Improving it. Also, practical stuff like exam anxiety, doing better in school, sleeping better.
Things like weight control, quitting smoking.
Yep, those too. Improving sports performance, boosting creativity, intuition, even becoming more spiritual.
Oh.
Building self-image, self-esteem.
Yeah.
Really, he suggests it can help with almost any personal goal one or both partners have.
It really does sound like a toolkit for, well, life improvement, both personal and shared. He also says, focus on one goal at a time.
Yeah, which makes sense, right? Don't try to boil the ocean. Keep it focused.
And keep a goals notebook with deadlines.
Adds that bit of structure, makes it more concrete, turns wishes into actual targets.
Okay. And the basic mechanism. How does he say it works?
It boils down to relaxation first. Getting the person really relaxed makes them more receptive, more open to suggestion.
And then you repeat those positive suggestions.
Exactly. And through that repetition, the idea is they become part of your thinking, influence your actions, and eventually become your reality.
Okay. Now, what about those common fears, like getting stuck, losing control? Does he address that?
He does. Yeah, he's very clear. You don't get stuck. It's not unconsciousness. It's more like deep focus, like being really absorbed in a movie or a book.
So you can always come out of it.
Absolutely. He also answers other common questions like, will you hear noises? Yes, you're still aware. How do you know if you're hypnotized?
Yeah, what's the answer to that one?
He kind of says, don't worry so much about the feeling of being hypnotized. Focus on the results you're getting. Does it feel like anything specific? He says that's personal. It varies.
Right. And memory. Do you remember it?
Generally, yes.
Yeah.
Unless maybe you drift off to sleep, which can happen if you're doing it before bed.
And how often should you do it?
As often as you both want to, basically. Whatever feels right and beneficial for the relationship.
It sounds like he's really trying to make it feel less mysterious, more like a natural skill you can use intentionally.
I think that's a good way to put it, demystifying it.
Okay, so how do you actually start? Chapter 3 gives us Plan A, the first experience, what's involved.
Okay, Plan A. This is designed to be done regularly, right before sleep. And for the first 2 weeks, one partner is designated as the hypnotist.
Just one person leading initially.
Yeah, to establish a rhythm. And finding a quiet place, obviously, where you won't be disturbed, is key. Both need to relax.
And the core of it is a progressive relaxation technique.
Exactly. He provides a script, progressive relaxation technique, #1.
Right. Can you walk us through the gist of that script? What are the steps?
Sure. It usually starts with the person, the subject, closing their eyes, focusing on the hypnotist's voice. Then there's deep breathing, often counting down slowly, maybe 5 to 1. And with each breath out, letting go of more tension. Then the main part is guiding attention through the body.
Relaxing muscle groups, one by one.
Starting with the forehead, face, jaw.
Yeah.
Moving down the neck, chest, shoulders, arms, stomach, back, legs. Right down to the feet. Systematically relaxing everything.
Okay.
And it ends with positive suggestions. Things like, you'll sleep deeply, you can handle anything unexpected that comes up, and you'll wake up feeling great, refreshed.
It sounds a lot like a guided meditation, really, focusing on the body to calm the mind.
It has strong similarities, yeah. Using physical relaxation to get to that receptive state.
And he suggests maybe 20 to 40 minutes for these first sessions?
Around that, yeah. And crucially, he says afterwards, talk about it. Have an open chat. Share what it felt like. Keep it experimental.
That feedback loop seems important.
Definitely. So you can tweak things, see what works best for both of you. It's a joint effort, learning together.
Right. Okay, so you do that for a bit, get comfortable. Then chapter 4 moves into writing a hypnotic prescription. What's the goal here?
So now, the idea is to get more specific. You start creating scripts focused on those goals you identified earlier.
The things you actually want to change or achieve.
Exactly. These are the hypnotic prescriptions you weave into the relaxation process, the induction.
He defines induction there too, right?
Yeah, he clarifies it's like the formal ceremony part, the bit that signals, okay, we're starting the process now. He notes you can technically be in a hypnotic state without it, but the induction makes it intentional, signals readiness for change.
Like flipping a switch in the mind, almost. What does he say makes a good induction? What are the ingredients?
He lists a few key tools. There's pre-hypnosis, basically stating the goal before you start.
Setting the intention.
Right. Then suggestions for deep breathing, using imagination like focusing on the feeling of muscles relaxing in that progressive technique.
Huh.
Also, a post-hypnotic suggestion.
What's that exactly?
That's a suggestion for how you'll feel or act after the session. Like you'll feel calm and less stressed tomorrow, or you'll have lots of energy.
Ah, okay. Carrying the benefit forward.
Mm-hmm. And an awakening signal, though that's less vital for plan A where you drift off to sleep anyway.
Gotcha. And that pre-hypnosis is just reminding yourself what you're aiming for.
Yep, just focusing the mind right at the start. Now, the hypnotic prescription itself, that's the main bit in this chapter.
The goal-focused script.
Right. And he suggests using stories, metaphors, affirmations, things the subconscious understands, and crucially, positive words and ideas only.
Why so much emphasis on positivity?
Well, his argument is we get bombarded with negative scripts all day long, right? From news, from ourselves.
True.
So you have to consciously choose positive framing here to counteract all that noise, to actually build something constructive.
Makes sense. Actively overwrite the negative stuff. He also says write the goals down and phrase them like they're already happening.
Yes. Committing them to paper is important. And yes, stating them as if they're already true or happening fast, like his relaxation example.
Instead of try to relax.
Right. You say, picture yourself relaxing deeply. It plants that image, makes it feel more real to the subconscious.
That's a subtle but powerful shift in language.
It really is.
Okay, chapter 5 brings in plan B. Now you're alternating roles. How does that work?
Plan B adds that reciprocal element.
Yeah.
You take turns being the hypnotist and the subject.
How often do you switch?
He suggests flexibility. Could be every other night. Maybe one person does a week, then the other.
Yeah.
Whatever works for the couple. The main thing is experiencing both sides.
Builds empathy, maybe. Understanding.
Exactly. You get a feel for both guiding and being guided. He includes that great William James quote here.
Oh, yeah.
The greatest discovery in my lifetime is that man can change his life by changing his mind.
Wow. That fits perfectly.
Doesn't it? It sums up the whole potential he's talking about.
And he told that story about John from high school.
Yeah, the kid who was struggling totally changed his mindset about his own abilities and ended up excelling in college.
Just by changing his mind.
A powerful illustration of the quote, right? Shows the impact of those internal beliefs.
Definitely. So with plan B, does the technique change?
He offers an enhanced version, progressive relaxation technique, #2. It builds on the first one.
How so?
It adds more suggestions during the relaxation. Things aimed at feeling calm and in control during the day, not just at night. Like being less bothered by daily hassles, having better memory, better concentration.
So extending the benefits into waking life more explicitly?
Yeah, layering on those broader daytime advantages, building on that initial relaxation base.
Okay. Then chapter 6. This is interesting. He brings in the 80-20 rule from business. How does that apply here?
Yeah, he borrows the concept, the Pareto principle, 80% of results from 20% of effort, customers, or whatever.
Right.
In this context, he's basically saying, look, it's okay if it's not perfectly 50-50. It's all right if one partner ends up being the hypnotist more often.
So one person might just be more comfortable or better at guiding, or maybe it just fits their schedule better.
Could be any of those things.
Yeah.
And he says that's fine. What's really interesting is his observation.
Yeah.
He's noticed that people who regularly act as the hypnotist often seem to have pretty good health themselves.
Huh. Why would that be?
His theory is partly because they're constantly giving these positive, health-affirming suggestions. Even when you're the giver, you're also hearing those words.
So you're suggesting good things for your partner, but you're absorbing some of that positivity yourself just by saying it.
Exactly. The words, the ideas, they have energy, he argues. They help create reality for the listener and the speaker. It echoes that power of 4 idea again.
Right, the combined energy.
He even connects into something from another of his books, The Power of Forgiveness. Sending positive energy out benefits the sender too.
So even if the roles aren't perfectly balanced, both partners are still potentially getting benefits?
That's the idea. It takes the pressure off needing strict equality in every session. Makes it more flexible.
That's actually quite reassuring. Makes it feel less like a chore, maybe.
Mm-hmm. More adaptable to real life.
Okay, now chapter 7. He says this is his favorite. Read me a story, please. Plan D.
This sounds quite different. It really is a shift. Plan D is basically using reading stories out loud as your hypnotic induction. He calls it the best plan because it's so customizable and, well, pleasant.
Reading stories, like bedtime stories.
Exactly like that. He makes that direct link. Think about how safe, secure, loved you felt as a kid being read to.
Yeah.
His theory is the subconscious might connect the partner's voice reading now with those deep, comforting feelings from childhood. Makes you naturally more receptive.
That's a lovely idea, actually. What kind of stories?
He suggests letting the listener choose. Could be kids' books, they often have good morals, right?
Right.
Or biographies of people they admire, stories about overcoming challenges, achieving victory.
Basically positive, uplifting stuff.
Definitely. But he does warn, maybe don't read the grim evening news right before bed.
Uh-huh. Good advice generally, probably.
Probably. So the trick is how you turn this nice act of reading into hypnosis.
Right. How do you add the hypnotic prescription part?
You weave it in. Birkin suggests maybe at the start or end of paragraphs or in the middle somewhere, or even just intuitively when you notice your partner seems particularly relaxed or absorbed.
So you just slip in the suggestions naturally within the story flow.
Kind of. He even gives opening lines you could use like, while I'm reading you this story, you will find all of your tension leaving your body.
Ah, so you frame the story itself as the start of the relaxation.
Precisely. You set the stage. And he really hammers home the point again here. Whatever works for you and your partner, that's the right way.
Find your own rhythm with it.
Exactly. Plan D really leans into that flexibility and intuition.
Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. Our deep dive into Perkins's How to Hypnotize Your Lover book. The core seems to be mutual relaxation, positive suggestions, working together on goals.
Yeah, I think that's it. Using this idea of partnered hypnosis as the main tool to tap into the subconscious, make those positive changes stick.
And he offers this range of ways to do it, from the structured relaxation scripts
Right, plans A and B.
to this much more flexible, maybe gentler story reading approach in Plan D.
Allowing couples to kind of find their own level, figure out what feels right, and what actually gets results for them.
So here's a final thought maybe for everyone listening, thinking about all this. How might just consciously directing positive attention, positive intention towards your partner, even without doing a formal session, how might that affect your relationship, your own well-being?
That's a great takeaway question.
Yeah, think about which of Perkins's ideas maybe spark something for you. Could you see trying any of this out, even in a small way?
And if you are intrigued and want to go deeper, he does list resources in the back of the book. Websites, workshops he might run, other books he's written.
So avenues for more exploration if this clicks for you.
Definitely.
Ultimately, it feels like it's about finding maybe some unexpected ways to connect more deeply, communicate differently, and really actively help each other grow.
Well said.
Yeah.
Supporting that shared journey.
Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. Hopefully it's giving you some interesting things to think about.